it is a lot of juggling, and our approach, the way we're working through it, and the plan that we've come up with is very much around integration and trying to keep simple as I describe it, because it's in my view it's Lego bricks, and the more we can turn our systems, whether they're legacy systems or new digital systems, into relatively simple Lego bricks that we can connect together in different ways to do things, the faster we'll be able to move and the more flexibility we've got in our systems. So we're trying to sort of make sure that although we're two different teams, we come together under one architecture, one set of guidelines, that sort of thing.
Okay. And now I remember dimly through the haze of red wine last night that was something that really sparked debate and discussion amongst everybody, this idea of kind of Lego bricks and more standardized ways of looking at capabilities. Is there something else that you'd like to add on that front as well?
Yeah, I think Sue's got an excellent point there in terms of a great analogy, actually. And one of the things she said yesterday was, it's no good having Lego bricks in the IT department and stickle bricks in the business, right? And Lego's not necessarily very simple. Everybody thinks about the little square block, but nowadays they do like incredibly complex models, but they all plug together in the right way, right? It's all about the little dots and the little receptors, which to me in the digital world is all about APIs. And I see the rise of APIs becoming incredibly important, and simple backbones to connect them becoming incredibly important. And you can have very complex systems on both sides. As long as they plug together with the same dots and holes, it's actually not as difficult as it used to be. The problem that we've generated for ourselves is that we built very closed systems in the past. We built things with no interfaces, no APIs, and no regard to doing anything outside of the big system that we've got. And the world that I see emerging is all about components. It's all about services, microservices, SaaS services running in the cloud, and the ability to plug those together is going to become ever more important for us.
Okay, fantastic. And Rhys, at Go Compare, do you recognise that kind of concept in terms of the way that systems are built and deployed, and then the way that they're used in the business, the way that things are composed or recomposed? Is that something that's familiar?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the key point is how IT has changed in the last 5 to 10 years, in that it was more of a utility with there as a service and just responded to what the board wanted us to do. But now you get CIOs at the board and looking for CIOs to drive the business forward, as opposed to the other way around. So instead of just technical excellence, relevance, sustainability and scalability, that's what's important to us at Go Compare. It's pointless investing £10 million in a wonderful architectural stack that you can scale if you're going to use 10% of it. So I think relevance is a word that isn't used too frequently. So we did have all sorts of technologies at Go Compare, but we've just massively simplified it to deliver what we need in terms of gaining customer insight and enabling ourselves to turn that into action to drive that repeat business and to steal some more business from our competitors. Because in our market there are 3 competitors, and with the smallest headcount, and we've stolen market share over the last sort of 15 months, but not doing anything groundbreaking, but just by using what we have more effectively. So in a roundabout way, yes, it's not so much about the tech for me at the moment, because the tech we do have is actually fit for purpose. It's just making it work for us and making the people better, and investing in both of those things together.
Okay, well, so let's stay on that point, because I know that that's a really hot button for you at the moment. We were talking last night. I was saying that a lot of the companies I speak to started to kind of look at online businesses or digital businesses almost like the end goal. It's like, well, we want to be more like them. Whether they might talk about Amazon or Netflix or somebody like that, where you imagine that everything is fleet of foot, everything is just seamless, continuous delivery, very rapid pace of innovation, everybody on board, everyone rowing in the same direction, all beautiful, shiny loveliness everywhere. And something that Rhys was sharing was that actually, even in a business that's born online, there are still a lot of challenges. So building on the point that you just made there, could you talk a bit more about some of the people and process pieces of what it is that you're currently dealing with.
Yeah, one of our main challenges, I think probably all of us in the room share, is our capability to deliver and deliver quickly. But it all depends what you're delivering. In our market, we are delivering change to attract volume to the site, to drive conversion. It could be very different for your business. So for BP, it would be very different to what is Go Compare. The people and process and technology are very important to my mindset in terms of how I see the world. And it does follow that suit. Technology by itself doesn't solve anything. Maybe at the lowest level it does, and some of the vendors in the room would probably disagree with that. But it's the people that make it all work and hang together. And then you need to back that up with very strong processes. So even though we are a digital business, and I made the assumption prior to joining Go Compare that everything must be so slick and wonderful, how could I possibly add value? But once you scratch the surface, it's still built on 9-year-old tech and 9-year-old processes. So my focus is very much on delivery frameworks, speed of delivery, putting in a framework in place at Go Compare that we can take an idea and turn it into reality very quickly, but with that sustainability and accuracy, not increasive massive technical debt that you have to revisit in 6 months and tear up again. And it goes back to Rod and Sue's point about the component view of it. You could create a new component that will represent a functional silo in about 12 months. And the knowledge has left the business, so it needs to be tightly integrated, but almost loosely coupled. So the people and process underpin everything for me, the way I see the world, and that's very much what we're working on at Go Compare.
So just to dig into that a little bit more, because there are a couple of things that you said there that I think are quite subtle, and I want to make sure I understood it right. So you said that the change is actually it's an integral part of your proposition almost, that you need constant change
Absolutely.
to keep driving the business
Absolutely.
forward.
It's, I think it's the HIPPO acronym. I can't actually recall now what it stands for, but I don't know what the customers want. The customers know what they want. We've got a good idea. Our product teams have a good idea, but overlaying suitable technology to capture real-time customer behavior, altering their journeys and making subtle changes. It could be a button move. It could be a reduction of text. It could be absolutely anything. So suitable processes and technologies in place to back that up in terms of A/B, MVT testing, which can drive conversion. So we're constantly changing.
Right.
Our offerings, and we have 41 products. So when you think of the architecture that needs to underpin 41 complex products, it's a very fast-changing environment.
Right. So the subtlety here, that I was wondering, it'd be great to get some thoughts on here, because in fact I think we talked last night about process and the word process, and how depending on who you're talking to, you get a different kind of response. And certainly commercial people, when you say process, they go, don't like the sound of that. It's going to slow me down. It's going to just cast everything in concrete. I don't like the sound of that. But what you appear to be saying there, Rhys, is that actually the right process enables you to change effectively and with confidence. Is that well, I put words in your mouth. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think a lot of businesses are struggling with a balance of delivery versus governance. So you can wrap a process around building an aircraft carrier, but you can also wrap a process around continuous integration and continuous deployment, just different processes.
Right.
Our job at our various board tables and meetings is to sell that and not scare the business with that word.
Right.
By calling it delivery frameworks.
Okay. Rod, anything to add on that?
Yeah, I think I would definitely subscribe to that. So we started the operation we've got at LV Fast Track, excuse me, to accelerate, to provide an accelerated change delivery, because we kind of got ourselves to a point where things were getting left on the table because we just couldn't actually adapt to the speed of change we needed. But when I set that up, I was absolutely determined to make sure that we had started with the process through which it would work. So even though you're being innovative and you're doing things rapidly, it's not a free-for-all. You've still got to have all of the same steps that you've probably got in your very big process, in terms of determining that it's the right thing to do, determining that you can actually do it and you've got a plan to do it, and determining that you've done the right thing and you can measure it. Right. So broadly, the same objectives as you would have for a big project. You've just got to do them much faster. So it's not about committee meetings and steering groups, and you've just got to think about different ways to be agile within that process.